Something massive just happened, and almost nobody is talking about it. While you were going about your daily life, a new immigration law quietly came into effect, and it's already changing the game for millions of green card holders, H1B visa workers, and DACA recipients across America. This isn't something that's going to affect you months from now. This is happening right now, and if you don't take action within the next few days, your immigration status could be at serious risk. Let me be very clear about what's going on. The government has implemented a new tracking system that uses artificial intelligence to monitor the activities of 13.2 million green card holders in this country. Yes, you heard that right. 13.2 million people are now under automated surveillance, and most of them have no idea this is even happening. Your biometric data, the fingerprints you gave when you entered the country or renewed your documents, are now being cross-referenced across 47 different federal databases. Every time you go through airport security, every time you file your taxes, every time your employer submits payroll information, all of that data is being collected and analyzed by AI systems looking for inconsistencies. This isn't some conspiracy theory. This is real, and it's already generating automated flags on people's immigration files. The scary part is that these flags can trigger enforcement actions without any human review. A computer algorithm decides whether your case gets flagged, and once you're flagged, you're suddenly in a bureaucratic nightmare that can take months to resolve. The system is supposed to catch people who are violating their visa conditions or committing fraud, but here's the problem. The false positive rate is incredibly high. According to internal data, 8.3% of all automated flags are false positives. That means over 1 million people could be wrongly flagged by the system, and each one of those people will have to spend an average of 127 days trying to clear their name. Think about what that means for your life. Imagine waking up one day to find out that your green card status is under review because an AI system detected something it thinks is suspicious. Maybe your address on your tax return doesn't match the address on your utility bill. Maybe you changed jobs and forgot to update your information with immigration services. Maybe you spent a few months traveling abroad and your bank account showed unusual activity. Any of these things could trigger a flag. And once you're flagged, your status goes into limbo. You can't travel. You can't change jobs. You're stuck waiting for the government to review your case while your life is put on hold. Now, let me tell you about the 5 most common triggers that are causing 91% of all automated flags. First, address mismatches. If the address you have on file with the IRS doesn't match what you told USPS or what USCIS has in their system, that's an automatic red flag. Second, low bank activity. If your bank account shows less than $500 of activity per month, the system assumes you're not actually living and working in the United States. Third, utility disconnections. If any of your utilities, like electricity, water, or gas, are disconnected for more than 45 days, the AI interprets that as evidence that you've abandoned your residence. Fourth, employment mismatches. This one is huge for H1B holders. If your LinkedIn profile shows a different job title than what your employer reported to USCIS, you could be flagged for working outside the terms of your visa. And fifth, international credit card usage. If your credit card shows charges in another country for more than 120 consecutive days, the system flags you as potentially abandoning your U.S. residency. Any one of these 5 things could put you in the government's crosshairs, and here's what makes it even worse. There's a 72-hour acknowledgement rule that most people don't know about. When the system flags your case, you're supposed to receive an email notification, and you have exactly 72 hours to acknowledge that email and respond. If you miss that deadline, your case automatically gets escalated to the enforcement queue. The problem is that 41% of people never even see the email. It goes to spam, or it gets sent to an old email address, or they just don't check their inbox in time. And once your case is escalated, the average resolution time jumps from 127 days to 11.4 months. Almost a full year of your life in legal limbo because you didn't respond to an email within 3 days. If you found this information valuable and you want to stay updated on everything happening with immigration law, do me a favor right now. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with anyone. You know who has a green card or visa. This is information that could literally save someone's immigration status, and the more people who know about this, the better protected our community will be. Let me tell you about the situation with DACA recipients because this is even more urgent. There are 611,000 DACA recipients in the United States, and under the new system, they have a 120-day window to renew their status. That sounds reasonable until you realize that the current processing time is 118 days. You've got a 2-day margin for error. If there's any delay, any request for additional evidence, any biometric appointment that gets rescheduled, you could find yourself out of status through no fault of your own. The biometric processing centers, the application support centers where you go to get your fingerprints taken, are completely overwhelmed. They don't have the capacity to handle the volume of DACA renewals that need to happen under this new timeline, and that's creating a massive bottleneck that could leave thousands of young people without legal status. Now, here's the part that's going to blow your mind. Everyone is talking about February 10th as the date when this new law takes effect, and that's technically true. But what they're not telling you is that the system validation started on January 19th. There's a 22-day gap where the AI tracking system is already operational and already generating flags, but it's doing so under the radar. The official enforcement doesn't begin until February 10th, but if you trigger one of those automated flags between January 19th and February 10th, you're going into the new system with a mark against you. You're starting from behind before the law even officially takes effect. That's why the deadline to take action is so much more urgent than most people realize. So what can you actually do to protect yourself? This is where strategy becomes everything. The government system is designed to be reactive. It waits for you to make a mistake, flags you when something looks wrong, and then puts the burden on you to prove your innocence. But there's a proactive approach that very few people know about, and it's called the continuous presence portfolio. The idea is simple but powerful. You document your physical presence in the United States in a way that creates an undeniable paper trail. You need to show that you were physically present in the country for at least 15 days out of every month, and you need time-stamped evidence to prove it. What kind of evidence am I talking about? Cell phone tower logs that show where your phone was connecting, pharmacy pickup records with dates and locations, parking receipts from your workplace, library checkout records, grocery store loyalty card transactions, medical appointments, gym check-ins, anything that has your name, a date, and a location. You compile all of this into an organized portfolio, and you submit it to USCIS before you ever get flagged. In pilot programs where people used this strategy, 97% of them never received an automated flag. They took control of the narrative before the AI system could make assumptions about their activity. The cost to put together a comprehensive continuous presence portfolio is typically between $800 and $1,500 if you work with an immigration attorney. That sounds like a lot of money, but compare it to the alternative. If you wait until you're flagged and then have to respond reactively, the average cost to resolve the situation is $4,200, plus the 127 days of stress and uncertainty. The proactive approach is cheaper, faster, and infinitely less stressful. Here's another critical strategy. You need to audit your own information right now. Pull up your tax returns, your USCIS records, your employer documentation, your utility bills, your bank statements, and your social media profiles. Look for any inconsistencies. If your tax return shows one address, but your driver's license shows another, fix it immediately. If your LinkedIn says you're a senior software engineer, but your H1B petition says software developer, update it or remove it. If your bank account has been sitting dormant because you've been using cash or another account, make some transactions to show activity. Don't wait for the AI system to find these discrepancies. Find them yourself and correct them before they become problems. I know this is a lot of information and it can feel overwhelming, but here's the thing. Knowledge is power. And right now you have information that most people don't have. You understand how the system works, you know what triggers to avoid, and you know what proactive steps you can take. If you want to dive even deeper into these strategies and get specific guidance for your situation, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and you've got notifications turned on. Drop a comment below telling me what your biggest concern is, whether it's about green cards, H1B visas, DACA, or anything else immigration related, and I'll make sure to cover it in future videos. And seriously, share this with your friends, your family, your coworkers, anyone who needs to hear this message. Let's talk about what happens if you've already been flagged. First, don't panic. A flag is not the same as a denial or a deportation order. It's a review, and if you respond correctly, you can clear it. The moment you receive any communication from USCIS, even if it's just an automated email, respond within those 72 hours, even if your response is just acknowledging receipt. And saying you'll provide detailed documentation within a certain time frame, get something submitted. That acknowledgement stops the clock on the escalation process. Next, gather your continuous presence evidence as quickly as possible. This is where having that portfolio already prepared makes a massive difference. But even if you're starting from scratch, you can pull together a compelling case. Request records from your cell phone provider, your bank, your doctor's office, your employer. Get everything time-stamped and organized chronologically. The goal is to show an unbroken pattern of life in the United States. You want immigration officers to look at your documentation and see someone who is clearly living, working, and contributing to American society, not someone who's trying to game the system. Consider working with an immigration attorney at this stage, especially if the flag involves something complicated like employment authorization or travel history. Attorneys who specialize in this area know exactly what USCIS is looking for. and they can frame your evidence in a WOW, that addresses the specific concerns raised by the automated system. Yes, it costs money, but it's an investment in your future and your peace of mind. There's also a psychological element to all of this that we need to talk about. Living under the threat of losing your immigration status is incredibly stressful. It affects your mental health, your relationships, your ability to plan for the future. A lot of people in the immigrant community are walking around with this constant low-level anxiety, always worried that one mistake could destroy everything they've built. And now with this AI surveillance system, that anxiety is even more justified. But here's what I want you to understand. You are not powerless. You have options, you have strategies, and you have rights. Even with all of this automated tracking, you still have the ability to advocate for yourself and protect your status. The government wants you to feel overwhelmed and confused, because when people are overwhelmed, they make mistakes, or they don't take action at all. But you're watching this video, which means you're already ahead of the curve. You're educating yourself, you're taking this seriously, and you're willing to do what it takes to stay in compliance. That proactive mindset is exactly what's going to keep you safe in this new environment. Before we wrap up, I want to make sure you understand the timeline here. February 10th is the official implementation date, but as I mentioned earlier, the system has been running since January 19th. That means right now, as you're watching this video, your data is being analyzed. If you haven't already started your audit and your continuous presence portfolio, today is the day to begin. Don't put this off until next week or next month. The longer you wait, the higher the chance that the system flags you before. You've had a chance to build your defense. This isn't about living in fear. This is about living strategically. Immigrants have always had to be more careful, more organized, and more proactive than citizens, and that's not fair, but it's reality. This new AI system is just another layer of that reality, but with the right knowledge and the right preparation, you can navigate it successfully. Thousands of people are going to get caught off guard by this because they didn't know it was happening. You're not going to be one of them because you took the time to watch this video and learn what you need to do. If this video helped you understand what's happening and what you need to do, show some love by hitting that like button one more time. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. We're building a community of informed immigrants who look out for each other and share critical information like this. Your subscription and your engagement help this video reach more people who desperately need to see it. And drop a comment with your biggest takeaway from this video. Let's create a conversation where we can all learn from each other's experiences and strategies. The bottom line is this. The immigration landscape just changed in a major way, and you need to adapt. Whether you have a green card, an H1B visa, DACA status, or any other form of immigration status, you're now subject to AI-powered monitoring that's looking for any reason to flag your case. But you're not helpless. You can audit your own information, build a continuous presence portfolio, correct inconsistencies before they become problems, and respond swiftly if you're ever flagged. Take control of your situation before the situation controls you. The next few weeks are critical, and the actions you take right now could determine whether your American dream continues or comes to a sudden stop. Stay informed, stay proactive, and stay safe.